Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I've got a first look at Civilization 6. 2K were very kind enough to invite me up to an event in London a couple of weeks ago to take a look at this latest entry into the Civ series. It's been a while since I really got stuck into a Civ. I played a bit of Beyond Earth, but I think if I go back properly, it was probably Civ 3 that I played an insane amount. So this was quite refreshing to jump back into the series with Civ 6. I've got to admit, noob alert. It took me a little while to work out all the various bits and pieces. This was kind of an in-development build of the game, so there were some bugs, and obviously there weren't any tutorial systems built in just yet. There was the encyclopedia in the game that you could easily access for various bits of information, but I actually kind of enjoyed being kind of thrown into it because it made me explore the game a little bit more. But yeah, I'm sure you guys will notice plenty of things that I did wrong or could have done better. Feel free to give me those tips and advice now. I certainly want to do some more content on Civ 6. Hopefully there'll be some more early access that I can do, but if not, upon release. And I mean, with Beyond Earth, I did a fair few live streams with that, and you guys were absolutely awesome. You guys came along and helped me kind of learn to play the game again and get back in. So yeah, I kind of almost be taking this kind of first look very much from almost like a new player's perspective. But if you're a veteran to the series, there's been a fair few changes and tweaks from Civ 5, which I'll go through in a bit. But first of all, let's take a look at the various characters you'll have available to play as in Civ 6. I'll be throwing in some kind of gameplay footage in the background throughout this whole video while I kind of talk about my impressions and some of the features. I recorded for about 3 hours worth of content. I'll probably show you more of the kind of slightly later on stuff, because the first hour or so I was kind of going around going, oh, how do I play this? What am I doing? But I eventually got there. I was chatting to some of the devs, and you know, they were pretty happy with my progress and how I was doing. I wasn't failing too hard. So anyway, let's take a look at some of those characters that you can play as. We've got Catherine de' Medici as France, Cleopatra with Egypt, Hojo as Japan, Montezuma as the Aztecs, and then we have Pedro II. I believe this is a kind of a younger Pedro, because apparently he was in Civ 5. This is the younger Pedro, Pedro II of Brazil. We have Qin Shi of China. And we have Teddy Roosevelt for America. And finally, God bless the Queen, Victoria for England. So yes. The devs told me that Catherine de' Medici had some pretty cool features that should try out, so I chose to play as her. The only difficulty we could choose was Prince. Again, this was kind of just like a first hands-on initial experience. So it wasn't really kind of about, you know, beating the game and stuff like that. It was about getting hands-on, getting some kind of first impressions down. So we'll jump on into the game. But we can hear Catherine's kind of little introduction bit here. I don't think the audio is final. It's probably placeholder, because Sean Bean is doing a lot of the audio work for this game. But yeah, I'll boost up the sound and enjoy.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water, to the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your greatest quest. From this early cradle of civilization on toward the stars.
Okay, so before we jump on into the map, we can very briefly see some of the features and abilities that Catherine de' Medici has. She has her Imperial Guard, and also the Chateau. The Chateau is a unique improvement, and the Imperial Guard as a ground unit. But one of the kind of key things that Catherine de' Medici has, she has a huge kind of court of ladies in waiting that will go out and kind of be able to hear whispers of what's going on with other civilizations, and those whispers will filter back through to you. So you might be able to use that well, hopefully you will be able to use that to your advantage, you know, to, you know, negotiate with other civilizations, or even, you know, hear whisperings of when a civilization is exposed, and you can strike and get in there, and you know, take full advantage of those whispers of the court. So I mean, if you're into a Game of Thrones, kind of Varys the Spider-esque, Catherine de Medici kind of gameplay you might be able to get there with all the whispers coming in. So yeah, let's jump on into the game. I'll leave it kind of running. I'll jump through probably from the early stage of me playing and setting up my first city, Paris, and then we'll go forward. Had a couple of events, kind of key events throughout this campaign. Early setup, and I was fighting the barbarians. Then actually had a surprise war from America. And I was told as well that the AI for most of I'm told that the AI for all the various characters and civilizations in the game will have very different kind of unique personalities now. They've really tried to differentiate them now, so it won't be kind of just a copy and paste AI kind of job. It'll very much feel like you're playing different historical civilizations and characters, and that they should act quite differently from one another. But one of the interesting things is that Teddy Roosevelt is meant to really try and maintain peace within the nations on his continent. But I'm sure we'll have that clip come up, and you can actually see that I think his quote was that my idea of peace wasn't the right idea of peace, basically. So clearly I'd perhaps been too aggressive in my playstyle up until that point. And so he declared war on me. We managed to sort that out later on, and the gameplay culminates with me actually attacking Japan and taking one of their settlements. So that'll all be kind of going on in the background while I talk about various features that have been added into Civ 6, and kind of my own, as I said, thoughts and impressions from my hands-on time so far with this game. So I hope you'll enjoy that. I should say as well, the Civ YouTube channel actually has a wealth of videos on there as well at the moment, including kind of first looks at each of the factions. So if you want to know a little bit more about each of them, highly recommend you go and check out that channel. I'll try and remember to link it down in the description. But let's kind of go through some of the key features of Civ 6, talk about some of the things that have changed from previous titles, and various bits and pieces. Obviously, as you'll be seeing right now, the art style is quite different. It's not as kind of ultra detailed as Civ 5. It's kind of more of a cartoony aesthetic. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I mean, I think I've seen someone describe it as kind of a more simpler, brighter look and feel to the game. Personally, I didn't actually mind it too much. I actually thought it was quite a nice looking game for what it is. It's not all about the graphics. In fact, you know, it's almost, I could say, barely about the graphics, and far more about the immersive gameplay that you have of civilization building. But it's quite, I think, quite a pleasing art style that they've gone for with this so far, and certainly playing it and moving around, quite like it. You've got the kind of shift between the 3D and the 2D map of the kind of areas of Fog of War that you haven't yet explored, and I really quite like that shift between the 2D and the 3D. But yeah, so it is a different art style from before, but I think it suits it quite well, and graphically it is still pretty darn good looking. I don't know what the graphics were set to for when I recorded this. I would assume pretty high though. It looked pretty darn good. So yeah, kind of key features with Civ 6 over kind of Civ 5 and previous titles in the series is you now have this this urban sprawl. You have various districts now that you can build outside of your city. So your holy sites, your campus for scientific research, your encampment for military upgrades and improvements can all be built outside. Or rather have to be built outside of your city in various districts, and they can be upgraded. And obviously, depending on where you place various districts, you'll get bonuses. Often, early game, sort of Rex has said that, you know, players might avoid mountains because they want the kind of fertile farmland and grasslands that they can build up their settlements there, or go right to the coast. But a couple of the early districts that you can get. And I believe there are possible to it's possible to develop up to 12 districts, but some of the earlier ones, such as the holy site and the campus, which you'll need for your scientific research, and obviously the holy site for your religious upgrades and improvements, benefit from being built next to mountains. So that adjacency bonus and kind of picking the best spot has always been super important in Civ, and even more so now with that districts element to it. Obviously, when you start a game, you won't be able to build all 12 districts straight away. You'll be able to build more as your city upgrades and progresses, but to start with, you'll have to specialize your cities towards different districts. So I quite like the idea of that. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Empire and Napoleon Total War, where you had a lot of the buildings shifted out into the countryside of the regions that you occupied and owned as your various factions. Obviously, it's very different, but I really like that change that Total War made with kind of decentralizing. Not everything was built up in the city, and I like this change so far that you have to specialize and you can build things for that. Obviously, it means you will need to defend them. And what have you, but yeah, I like that shift out. It kind of, to me, it feels like there's more to do kind of outside of the city now in Civ 6. Obviously, before you were just building it in the city, and now it's kind of shifted outside. But yeah, I like that change. I mean, what are your thoughts on the district system? That seems to be one of the one of the biggest changes to the game so far, and one of the kind of biggest kind of new additions to the series, or kind of tweaks of the existing systems in place. So yeah, let me know what you think, especially, as I said, it's been several Civs since I really was stuck in. So, let me know, those of you that are kind of veteran Civ players, how you feel this this change. Do you think see it as a good change? Would this be of how you would like to have seen it implemented? Do you have any other kind of tweaks and changes you'd like to see? Let me know in the comment section, because, as I said, hopefully I'll be able to get chances for more early access with Civ 6. And so far, this has really kind of rekindled my enjoyment, my passion for the series. And I certainly want to get stuck in and play again after having kind of 3 solid hours playing the game, and then kind of like coming away from that, coming back home, and I'm like, oh, I just want to play again. I've actually been jumping into Civ 5 recently, and I'm playing some games on that kind of while I wait now, because this is out on the 21st of October this year, so not too long to wait. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys more content on it soon, and kind of do kind of a full little kind of mini playthrough rather than just showing you some gameplay, and hopefully I'll have a better idea of what I'm doing as well. So when it comes to warfare, or kind of, I guess, battles in Civ 6, obviously with it being turn-based, there have been kind of some changes, and while one of the kind of biggest changes in Civ 5 was that they removed unit stacking, it's not exactly back in Civ 6, but there are kind of a few more options, and there have been some changes in how kind of units interact, military units interact, what kind of classifies as a military unit, and who can occupy the same tile as another unit, and kind of combining units as well, some of the same ones at least. Units of the same type can be combined into armies or corps, so you can create more kind of powerful units by combining the same type together. So that should help kind of take some of the clutter off the map, by requiring, obviously, previously every unit to be on one tile, as a new rule they introduced with Civ 5, but should allow you to kind of reduce that clutter a little bit, but still not quite have like stacks of doom as you kind of did previously. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I need more time kind of with the battle system. I got 85 turns into my game, and again, with me kind of just feeling out the game, as it were, and getting used to it and exploring all the features, I didn't really get a chance to try out everything, but this does sound like a pretty reasonable kind of middle ground from where they were before Civ 5 and kind of going forward. Plus there are kind of like customizations to units, additional gear, and things that generals can do to improve your units with various upgrades and things like that. Also, they've created kind of a new class of unit, support units. So things like battering rams, siege towers, anti-tank and anti-aircraft guns are now all support units and can now occupy the same tile as a military unit. So again, kind of trying to reduce that clutter, but also with things like, you know, the support units that would make sense being kind of paired up with other units. Obviously, you can send like warriors off with the settler group as well, and they can help defend them from attack from barbarians. Early game, that's what I was doing a fair bit of when I wanted to expand my cities and build more. So yeah, changes like that so far seems to be pretty reasonable, pretty effective with the changes they've made there. But again, be interested to hear what you guys have to say on the matter and what you guys think about kind of not kind of full stacking coming back, but allowing some sort of stacking with some units together and some support units. It seems to me to make sense, but again, I've been out of Civ for a while, so let me know, guys. Just very briefly coming back to districts, again, because you have them now spread out from your city, you will have to defend them. So again, Firaxis have sort of said this, they're kind of hoping gives you more, well, forces you to make more decisions about what's really important of where you defend, where you place units, because you will be fighting, you know, on your holy sites, on your campuses, and things like that. I quite like that. I think that adds kind of a more tactical level to the game. That you will have to, you know, you will have to fight over those districts that are placed on the kind of key locations that you're now creating around the map. Moving on to another kind of big change with Civ 6 is the way research is done and boosts to research. A lot of people have kind of been describing them almost as like mini quests that you can have for your research now, and research kind of very much reflects the way you're playing and kind of your location on the map as well and what you're doing. So for instance, with sailing, if you're in the center of the map with no access to the coast, or you haven't expanded out to the coast yet, it'll take kind of the normal 16 odd turns, whereas if you've expanded out to the coast and you're right by the water, it'll only take you 8 turns. So it's kind of like a mini quest in that it kind of directs you, if you want to research sailing faster, you know, to go to the coast, expand out that way, build more cities and expand your civilization, and you'll be rewarded with a tech boost to unlock that tech faster, because, you know, it would make sense that a civilization right on the coast would, you know, actively be would unlock sailing faster than a landlocked or a civilization right in the center of loads of grasslands and farmland. So I really like that change, and when I was playing, I was certainly constantly checking the research to see, you know, what's around me, what am I doing, you know, what makes the most sense for me to be doing and unlocking. Oh, I can do that, I've got a boost because of where I'm located or what I'm already doing. So again, I really like that. I like that kind of little, it wasn't a railroaded direction that you had to go, but it was a nice option to see, sort of like, hey, you know, you're cool doing, you know, all this mining and stuff over here, but if you want sailing, you know, you've just made that new coastal settlement, you could get it faster now. Or even before I'd gone down and created like a coastal settlement and stuff like that, or wanted to go and do that, you know, it could be like, hey, you should go down to the coast and build a city there, because then you could get sailing faster, and then there's all these other technologies that you can unlock from that. So, you know, research and expansion kind of go hand in hand in Civ 6, and I really like that it gives you all those kind of branches to explore, and it, makes a lot of sense. On to kind of diplomacy and how the AI interacts with that. There's been a lot of changes to that, and they've tried to give the historical leaders of each of the civilizations kind of their own little agendas, and some of them having hidden agendas as well. And again, that means playing as Catherine de Medici is quite useful, because you may well, through her web of ladies in waiting and ladies of the court, be able to hear those whispers of what those various civilizations are planning. And again, as I said at the start, the AI has been tweaked to all kind of act quite differently, and again, kind of linking to the traits that those historical leaders will have, and their agendas that they will have as well. As I said, and kind of the overview of essentially what happened when I played the game, and hopefully you'll be seeing it now with the gameplay. But quite out of the blue, America declared war on me with Teddy Roosevelt. And I was quite taken aback by that. I had to then suddenly... I'd been building up quite kind of economically and sorting on my farmlands and mines and getting a grip still with that. And suddenly I had to start going into quite a lot of military production. I had built a few military units because I'd been fighting off the barbarians as I expanded out and created Marseille, my second city. But yeah, I wasn't prepared for that, and it was a surprise war. And again, that quote was that Roosevelt's agenda, as far as I knew, it was that if you're on the same continent, you share the same landmass, then he will actively try and kind of keep the peace within the various civilizations that are there. But yeah, his quote was that I wasn't, my idea of peace wasn't the same as his idea, essentially. So I quite liked that had obviously upset him, and so to sort that out, he was going to, you know, go to war with me and pacify me, I guess, that way. So yeah, I did like the changes there. I think it would be quite fun playing against Catherine de Medici civilization player or AI, just to see how that kind of interferes thing, and I'd be interested to see how well the AI makes use of all those whispers that are coming in. You know, you could well see kind of, I guess, the mid to late game, her suddenly kind of swing a campaign almost, with all the various bits of intel that she's getting all the time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I want to spend more time with Catherine de Medici with the campaign at some point, and kind of, I didn't really make too much use of that, and I sometimes got a couple of whispers, like with that declaration of war from Teddy Roosevelt. I didn't get any preemptive warning, so obviously that was a surprise war, and that worked. But after it had been declared, I think one of the whispers that came through was that the United States has gone to war with France. I was like, oh, good to know. Good to know as their armies rampage through my territory. Another substantial change is the way government systems and the way that you research civics in Civ 6 works. They're a lot more flexible now, and you have a separate research tree from the kind of standard research tree for your civics. And you start off as a chiefdom. And during the course of the 85 turns that I was playing, I researched up to the oligarchy, which gives you more policies that you can enact across your military, economic, and diplomatic policies. And depending on the type of government you go for, you will potentially get more policies available in, say, the military slot, the military policies slot, the economic slot, or the diplomacy slot, and those are all represented by different cards, which you'll get kind of throughout the game, and can unlock various cards which can be slotted into those policies, which can give you various bonuses, you know, towards attack boosts and speeds for military, production speed increases for you know, your economic stuff, or, you know, diplomatic bonuses as well. Plus there's also a wild card slot, so you can obviously put in an extra card, an extra policy of any of the others as well. So it really does help you kind of tailor your civilization to what you currently need, and gives you that flexibility to change it should you wish to later on, if, you know, your situation changes, if you want to pursue more of an economic route. So it allows you to adapt, you know, as much as you want without kind of hindering you for the type of government that you have. You can change that every time you unlock a new one, and you can also, if you want to, pay gold to swap them at will. Also, workers have been replaced as well. They're now called builders, and they now only have 3 building charges. After that, they disband. But they build things instantly, rather than taking many turns to do so. But yeah, they have those 3 charges, so you will probably find you'll need to build more builders as you expand, because they won't live forever. So you have that trade-off, instant kind of building on, you know, farms or mines or things like that. But that's one of your charges gone for your builder unit. So I think that's kind of some of the main features that I observed during my time with it. Obviously there are more, and as I said, hopefully I can get hands-on again soon with Civ 6 to bring you some more content. And if there is any kind of specifics you'd like me to focus on when I do that content and show you guys, please do let me know in the comment section. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope the gameplay that you did see was good. If you would like to see more of the gameplay, I mean, I could just do a commentary over some of the, the 3 hours worth of footage that I recorded and give you kind of a bit of a snapshot of my game, of kind of going through 85 turns. This is very much been kind of slotting in that gameplay to highlight the various details that I'm talking about at various stages across this video. But yeah, I hope it's been useful. I hope you guys found it interesting, and yeah, very much for those that are veteran Civ players, feel free to give me some starting tips. I'll probably jump into Civ 5. I might even do some Civ 5 streams and allow you guys to kind of help tutor me through that. And yeah, it's one of these games. I mean, kind of, I guess, to wrap up with my kind of impression so far. How do I find it as a new player? Someone's not played the series for a while, or not at all. I found it very engaging, very immersive. I was zoned in the whole time, which is probably why half the time I wasn't kind of taking my headphones off and chatting to the devs and being like, how do I do this? I was just kind of feeling out the game. I got really engrossed in what I was doing, even if I was doing it wrong. And again, it was nice to have an AI that actively engaged with me, be it through war or diplomacy. I had I had Victoria, the English Empire, wanting to be very good friends with me, which was nice to have a friend. And yeah, it made the experience very enjoyable so far. So I'm excited to see where they go forward with this. Plus, I'm a massive Sean Bean fan, so the fact that they had him with various audio cues and hints and stuff when you research new technology, his voice would pop up, and I can't do a Sean Bean impression, so I'm not even going to try.
One man's magic is another man's engineering.
But he'd be like, we discovered the wheel and things like that or whatever, and I was like, that's, for me, Sean Bean in a game, that's an instant thumbs up from me. It seemingly got some really good gameplay features in there as well, and made some good improvements from previous titles in the series and changes. That gets another thumbs up. So far I'm quite positive about Civ 6, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I guess, again, veteran players, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback from content you've seen on other channels, not just mine. How is it shaping up for you guys? How are you feeling this? How are you feeling about this game as another entry into the series so far? But yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I enjoyed the bits of Beyond Earth that I played, but it didn't capture me as much as, say, Civ 3 did when I played that years ago. But this has kind of got that feeling all kind of stirred back up again. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to play some Civ. So that's obviously, for me as a gamer, like, that's an awesome effect that a game has had. If you can make me want to jump back in, so much so that I want to get back. I've been playing bits of Civ 5 here and there now in my spare time, because I want to play more Civ 6, and this is the closest thing I can get to it at the moment. So yeah, I'm super excited. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you want to see some more content. In the meanwhile, as I said, hopefully I'll be able to get some more early access soon. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Take pride and join the Legion. Check out my affiliates and sponsors, XMG, Greenman Gaming, and Overclockers UK. Until next time, ciao for now.